Tesla just dropped a new Cybertruck model. It's 59,990, and it's messing with my entire plan. In this video, I'm going to go over what's different between the model that I ordered and still haven't received a date for, and this new cheaper model. Compare the two trims, and let's see what's really different between the two, and then what this means for me personally going forward, because I still have time to change. If you've been following along, you know that I have a Cybertruck on order, and there's a whole series of videos that has gone through the process up to this point. If you haven't seen those videos yet, I have a playlist that walks through the whole process. It might be interesting for you. But up to this point, I still don't have a VIN or a date yet. So I am in that window where I could pivot to this new model. But I've also been digesting on exactly, for me, how to internalize this. What does this mean? What are the differences between the two trucks? Right when this model was released, I thought, oh my goodness, this is it. But I wanted to sit on the idea a little bit, have the details emerge more, and begin to think about this particular trim model in comparison to what I ordered. And as I've sat with this for a few days, I've landed on thinking of this as essentially like a new trim level like other traditional manufacturers make. And I'm going to use the F-150 as a model to illustrate my point, because that's how I think about it. In the United States, the F-150 is by far the most popular pickup truck. In that pickup truck, the most popular trim is by far the XLT. Now that's how I'm positioning my thinking with this new Cybertruck model. It's like the XLT of the Cybertruck trim level. You essentially got the XLT in this new model. You have kind of sort of the Lariat model in the now premium all-wheel drive. And then you have the Platinum, which is essentially the Beast, not a direct apples to apples, because the Beast is just, supercar territory in terms of performance. And that has helped me think about what I want to do and what features are important to me based upon what I've done in the past and kind of how I'm thinking about this now. So even when I was shopping traditional combustion engine trucks like the F-150, like the Ram, I was always pricing out at that Lariat level for an F-150 or the higher packages looking at the Ram Rebel, because I wanted those niceties. I wanted the leather. I wanted the upgraded sound system. I wanted the updated bed packages. I wanted the headway to be able to tow should I need to do that at some point. That's a whole nother topic with electric vehicles. Won't get into that in the moment. But the point is, I was typically shopping in that category anyways. But the XLT model does make a lot of financial sense. And so this is a tough one. And the reason this is messing with my plan, I think, is explanatory, because $20,000 is real money. It changes all the math instantly if you were to go that route. So in this video, I want to break down what you keep and what you lose between the new base all-wheel drive model and the now premium all-wheel drive model. Offer my opinion on who this truck is for, and then we'll talk about where I'm personally landing on all of this. So Tesla just released the $60,000 model. It's all-wheel drive and essentially makes the version that I ordered the new premium model. But an important disclaimer to that is that Elon also stated that this $59,000 price tag is only available for the next 10 days, or at least they're going to reassess in 10 days. So that strategy alone could be a whole nother video. It definitely creates some market confusion, but at the same time, it appears to be creating some market excitement for people who are waiting for a cheaper price tag on an all-wheel drive model. Okay, let's do some simple breakdowns. What are the difference between this new $59,990 model and the new or previously existing premium model? And as I'm going through this, I'm also remembering that XLT trims in the Ford ecosystem don't exist to be bad. They exist to hit the sweet spot and to be the volume model. So what do you keep? And this is going to be the part that excites a lot of people. Right out of the gate, you keep the core performance and range, the same mileage, the same 0 to 60, and the same all-wheel drive steer-by-wire 4-corner steering system. That right there is enough to convince a lot of people that it is worth it. That is core Cybertruck performance right there. You still keep the powered tonneau in the back. Other trucks have provided cheaper options. This is the same tonneau cover across all models, confirmed by the lead engineer of Tesla on X. You get the same power outlets in the back, which includes the 115 and the 240, which is a big deal. So with that being said, if you want the Cybertruck design, the Cybertruck core performance, it's there. It's got it, and you won't be disappointed. So now let's talk about what you lose to hit that price point. And in my mind, this is where, again, it becomes very XLT Lariat-like. So right out of the gate, you have less towing capability. This cheaper model tops out at 7,500 pounds, whereas the all-wheel drive premium model is at 11,000 pounds. And that appears to be because of the difference in suspension, which takes me to number 2, air suspension. The premium model comes with air suspension, and this new cheaper model does not. Depending on your use case, some people might actually prefer that. Loss number 3 is the sound system and active noise cancellation. So in this cheaper model, you go from 15 speakers down to 7 speakers. Also, you lose active noise cancellation in the cabin. So the cabin experience shifts from a more premium lounge-like atmosphere to a basic good atmosphere. Loss number 4, seats and comfort. Seats go from the typical Tesla vegan leather or pleather to fabric. Also, you lose some features of seat heating in the rear, and you lose seat ventilation in the front. Now, I've been reading commentary out there that some people actually prefer the fabric seats depending on the use case. So again, use case dependent. Loss number 5, rear technology and family comfort. The rear screen in the back, gone. And if you have a family with kids, that isn't nothing. But at the same time, again, use case. Some people might actually prefer to not have a screen in the back. Loss number 6, cabin outlets. The outlets in the bed stay, but the outlets inside the cab are gone. Loss number 7, the new standard wheel is an 18-inch wheel, and the looks of which are debatable, but as they all are. On the upper trims, it starts at a 20-inch wheel. I walked through the builder, and it appears as though you can add the 20-inch wheels. So for a cost, it's pretty easy to update that look. A bonus loss that I forgot to mention in the bed is that the bed no longer has that rear under storage locker. It now is just a straight flat bed like a traditional truck. So here's the question I ask myself, reviewing all of this information. If I'm going to drive something as wild as the Cybertruck, do I want this to be a wild looking truck that's mostly the Cybertruck, but also a more basic version like all the other trucks on the market? Or do I want my experience to be wowed with the full experience of the Cybertruck that makes it crazy in the first place every single day? Because the stuff that we're talking about here with the air suspension, the upgraded seats, the upgraded storage in the back, the power inside, the extra screens, the auto quality, the noise cancellation, all those things. Those are the things that actually bring the whole package together, in my opinion, that creates that wow factor. Let me be super clear. This model at this lower price point is a fantastic move and probably the best or volume pick for most people that would even consider this truck. Similar to the XLT, it has almost everything that makes that vehicle great if you don't want to splurge for some of the extra things that you may not need or may not want. But that core performance and that core product is there. So here's where it messed with my plan. The $20,000 in savings price point immediately triggered the reevaluate gears in my head. But when I equated it to also how I would typically build out the typical ICE trucks, I would typically build out the Lariat model or the extra packages on the Ram because I wanted some of those extra features that made being in that truck a pleasurable, memorable, pleasant experience. Because as cool or as wild as it looks on the outside, or as ugly as some people might say, the interior experience is where you're getting the vast majority of your experience. And that to me holds a lot of weight simply because I like to enjoy where I'm at. And let's be honest, the Cybertruck is not a sensible vehicle. And what I mean by that is, of course, it has all the performance numbers we could talk about, but the sensible choice, right, would be one of the typical choices from one of the regular manufacturers. But this is a bold, wild truck that comes with trade-offs as well as things that are better that I've explained in other videos. And at the end of the day, if I'm going to commit to this wild truck, I want all the wild features to go with it. So here's where I land. This cheaper model is a fantastic value and the best choice for most people, full stop. But for me, in my family's personal journey here, I'm sticking with the higher trim level, the now premium all-wheel drive. I want the extra features that make it feel memorable every time I'm in the vehicle, that make it feel fun every time I'm in the vehicle. Not just for me, but for my kids, where they want to go with me places. They enjoy it when we're driving. We're having a blast in the vehicle, outside the vehicle together. Now, granted, the vast majority of that is possible in the cheaper Cybertruck too. This is just the total package that makes sense for me and my family. On this vehicle, to me, these features change the perspective of, hey, this is a cool vehicle, to, wow, this thing is something special. So on that note, hopefully I get a VIN number and an estimated delivery date soon. As of today, I'm at 8 weeks and 2 days since my order date. So I gotta be due anytime, right? So if you were on the fence with the Cybertruck, and now that you have this new information, what are you planning to do? Are you considering purchasing this new cheaper Cybertruck? Are you even on the fence at all between the two models? I'm curious to hear from people who are actually considering purchasing the vehicle, or even those who are just observing from the outside. What do you think? If you enjoyed this video, please consider subscribing and come along for the ride as we go through this process together. I'll be sure to be updating you all along the way. This is Weekend Gold. Until next time.